Hello and welcome to today's video as we do the final video for the preview for Worlds 2024 Finals. It'll take place tomorrow. Instead of doing one preview video looking at both teams, it was better to do a role each day. So today we have supports. And this is the role that I believe will be the biggest factor in the finals. Outside of the fact that there was a coin flip to decide who had side selection, I still think a coin flip is certainly the most, the silliest way to determine side selection. But either way, On and Carrier. So On, I said going into semifinals, worst player amongst the four teams and the way he'd been playing. Although the Hens played like shit, I would still say On very well is the worst player of the 10 left. Ince's face-off, definitely. And dies a lot. Now, when we think about this, when we think about how Gen G kind of lost to T1 because Lahen's entered his face-off, I mean, if On does that, we could theorize that BLG's roster is better than Gen G's on paper, but by how much, I mean, I think is a fool's errand. I think both teams definitely were in conversations to be world champions at this event. So, I mean, many people expected that to be like the finals match or the decider of who would win Worlds, but that did not occur. And, I mean, if BLG end up going down that same path where they're support just ints his face off. Will T1 punish similarly and end up getting ahead? We'll see. BLG certainly more aggressive than Gen G. A lot more aggressive, as people somehow overlooked in yesterday's video, my mentioning that these two teams are not the same, that BLG play a lot higher pace, more kills per game, more damage, etc. So that is a thing to think about going into this one, that BLG and Gen G's tempos were different. So T1 and BLG's tempo is a bit different as well. I mean, it's a thing. So, On, inning his face-off, 1.4 KDA, carry a 3.4. KP, big deal. So, On, 63%. Less than 2 out of every 3 kills, almost just over 3 out of every 5, On is involved in, which means BLG do not fight around On. On is not integral to their success necessarily, dying a lot before the fights even begin. And sure, his team may turn it around, but will they turn it around tomorrow? We will see. Carrier, 82%. That's a big difference. Now, all of a sudden, we have 4 out of every 5 kills. We saw Carrier roam mid multiple times throughout this tournament and make things happen. That is the difference here. That is the biggest diffy. Carrier is going around the rift, making things happen. After Swiss stage, leading the team in KP. I think he may have even led the team in KP in summer playoffs. That is significant. Carrier is the conductor of this train, if you will. Faker may be shot calling, but Carrier is the one that's clicking the buttons and roaming and finding opportunities to engage. Carrier, if you're new to the channel, I've considered Carrier to be the best player in the world mechanically for years now. I've had him as the best player outright in the world at times, alternating with players like Chovy and Knight, etc. During that time period. But Carrier is an excellent player, and now that he's getting, I would argue, more, I don't want to say more intelligent, because that's not the way to say it. He's just more active, more taking more initiative in getting things done. And he's realizing, hey, Guma can play weak side. He won't die on his own. He won't int his face off. That's one thing Guma does very well, is that he will not lose you the game. So Carrier can go leave bot and make things happen. He can go leave top lane in a lane swap, go mid for a minute, and, hold his ground. So 82%, big deal. That's a very big difference from On. So Carrier, very important to his team's success. On, inning his face off, so the team's bailing him out. ROI, return on investment. So damage divided by gold, it supports. But Carrier, 4/5, that's pretty good. On, 3/5, because On's dying before the team's fights start. Vision efficiency, both dropping a lot of words, so vision efficiency is lower. And actually, On has better vision placement. In terms of gold difference, so in green and smaller writing, I have the totals when I include both the 80 carry and the support. Because I think it's significant. Because if I just put these numbers up here, some idiot's going to say, hey, this is supports, it doesn't matter. The 80 carry may be taking a lot of the gold. Somebody that, didn't watch yesterday's video that won't take the time to watch it. So, when we take this into consideration, Carrier 662 gold ahead when you combine him with Guma. Both are had about 300, 350 gold each. I mean, on average, that means they go 660. Every game they went even in the laning phase. There's a game they're up 1,200 combined. Very strong bot lane duo, one of the best in the world, and have played some of the best in the world, and we'll talk about that in a second. However, BLG and On, down 88 gold, and when you take into account Elk's numbers, they're still actually negative 66 gold per game combined. They are struggling in the first 15 minutes. They are not ahead. You can say, oh, look at who they played, you know. But the fact of the matter is, we're in the finals now. This whole being behind crap is not going to work tomorrow. If Elk and On are behind against Guma Carrier, every game tomorrow, they will lose the series. I think that's very safe to say. They cannot be behind 660 gold on average or something. I mean, I don't know what the matchup, exactly what happened in their individual matchup outside of that T1-1. I mean, we watched it at the time, but I don't have the stats here to just go off the top of my head. But the fact is, when we look at the larger sample, BLG's bot lane duo simply have not gotten it done in the laning phase. And if you get behind against a team like T1, I really don't think they're going to pull it out. XP, because you can say, oh, but lane swaps. XP, T1 on average had 600 gold combined, and BLG 200. Champions, BLG's On played 8 champions, 15 games, Carrier 7 and 12. Damage share, I mean, it's just a number to have up there. Gold share, they're both eating up about 13% of their team's gold. But, damage, Carrier 9%, On 6%. I mean, it supports. Who really cares? In terms of shares. Opponents. Who did they play against? Well, On played against Weibo's bot lane duo 3 times, so that's Light and Crisp, a good bot lane, of course. Viper Delight in Elite bot lane 4 times. Hansama Mickey X a few times, 3 times. PSG Betty Woody, world-class bot lane, I'd say. Played T1, played Supa Alvaro, and then Galahung, which we would consider a world-class elite bot lane as well. Now, in the case of T1, out of their 12 games, 8 of them were against elite bot lanes. Pays Lahens, Jackie Love Mako. So the majority of their games against bot lane duos that you'd consider to be top 5 in the world, which limits what they don't have a lot of filler games in there. They don't have a couple games against Betty Woody or Supa Alvaro. Yes, they have one game against Cheeton and Curry out of 12, so 11 of 12 were against strong bot lane duos, and in the case of BLG, it's not quite that. I think it's like 12 out of 15. Champ selection. So, something interesting here, and we're going to have to look at it in draft. This is something important that, fully realizing when we look back at the sample. So, champs, On, from most to least, Rel, Rakan, Alistar, Poppy, Leona, Nautilus, Renata, Nico. Carrier, Renata, Rakan, Leona, Pike, Nico, Bard, Braum. Carrier, wider champion pool than On. Going into MSI, I had On above Carrier, if I recall, due to how many champions On was playing in playoffs in spring. I felt like he was coming in hot and coming in with a lot of confidence. Like I said, at this tournament, he's playing like trash. But the champion pool is still there. He has an elite champion pool and is willing to play a lot of different things. And frankly, having the cojones to do that does matter. That's one of the reasons why I like Carrier's play style so much. It's why I like Carrier as a player and hold him in such high regard, because he will play anything at support if it works. It's why we're seeing unique picks like Pike and Bard coming from him that no one else is really playing at this tournament. Now, draft though. So BLG and On have been banning Poppy at this tournament. We don't see Poppy played by T1. So are they going to necessarily ban it against T1 to avoid it as support? We'll see. Of course, Poppy's been picked in top and jungle as well at this event, but BLG do play it. Now, T1 ban Rel. And you notice that they do not play Rel. So it's quite possible that T1 don't have Rel really in their cards at this tournament. Either they don't think it's that strong, Carrier wants to play something else. I mean, it remains to be seen. But BLG do play it. It's On's most played. So is Rel going to be banned tomorrow? I think that there's a very big possibility. I mean, excuse me, it's BLG's most played, and T1 don't play it. So it might be something that they want out of there, or at least they had a week, figure out how they want to counter it and counter the engage of that champion. Of course, it's got most deaths in part due to On and others, so that is a thing. Maybe you want to give it to BLG and be like, okay, On, you go play Rel. You go right ahead. Who knows? As far as banned against, so people not really want to play On's Rakan. It's his second most played, and Carrier also played it quite a bit at this event. Rakan usually being a champion that was more of a thorn in his side, but this tournament he's done decent on it. T1 facing a lot of Renata bans, and you see that is the most banned champion against T1. If it's down here, On's only probably played it once. So do BLG see Renata as a champion that they really don't want to play, and T1 might want to play a lot? So are they going to ban Renata? We'll see. I imagine support could be a R5 scenario or a counter pick, B4, B5, whatever, because of the champion pools for both of these players. It's a big deal. They could find counters, and I think, honestly, they are the ones that could really decide this series. I've said it in a couple videos that, like, this matchup could do it, that matchup could do it, but I mean, On is inting his face-off. So if he ints his face-off some more, it could be very problematic for BLG. If Carrier continues to make things happen around the Rift and affect the game as much as he has at this tournament, it's going to be a big deal for T1. So if BLG can match those roams, be prepared for those roams, and eliminate that, maybe, they take that away from T1's game. T1 has to adapt and play a different style than they have at this tournament. BLG, if On just plays the game of League of Legends like he has for the majority of the season, BLG are in a good spot as well. So it's one of those things that, I mean, although it's a support role and a lot of people don't think it's highly valuable, if you have a good support that's doing their job at a high level like Carrier is, it could be a big difference maker. And if you have a support that's really inting their face off like On is, it could be a real problem. So that's something to look for tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.